iRacing.com is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all over the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. iRacing's web-based interface allows members to compare stats and test drive any combination of car and track instantly. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 60,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsport organizations like SRO Motorsports Group to deliver virtual races based on the real-life Blancpain GT series. iRacing's Blancpain Endurance Series features team racing, giving members the ability to build a team and participate in races ranging from 3 hours to 24 hours. Additional partners include NASCAR, IMSA, V8 Supercars, IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own 24 hours of Spa, Bathurst 1000, Daytona 500, and many more. iRacing.com, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car.
Good evening, iRacers, and welcome to Apex Racing TV for the second round of the European Stock Car Championship. Alex Simpson with Matt Dalton and Raul Alvis for this round. Well, fellas, I'll start with you, Matt, first. We missed you last week. Of course, Daytona, a lot of fun. Martin took the victory there in what we thought was going to be really close at the end, but just became a teammate 1-2. What do we expect from Atlanta, and who's looking good at the moment?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Just some good racing last week. I thought they might have had a bit of a go at it, but obviously they put some team orders in place last week. Based on the races at Atlanta that we had for the NIS last week and watching the Peak Series race, I think this week should see some real good action. Should be some multi-grooves, people running different lines, especially through 1 and 2. Early pits, because the tyre drop off is pretty severe, so 25-35 laps, somewhere in that window will be when people will be coming in, and yeah, it should be some really good racing.
Raul, to you, buddy, what are you hoping for? I know you're expecting this to be a lot of fun tonight. We spoke off air and you were saying it could be an absolute blast tonight. What's your thoughts going into this one?
Well, I definitely think it will be a lot of fun to watch. Matthew did hit it on point as far as the pit strategy goes. I don't expect these guys to run it a full run due to the matter of fact that the tire wears, the fall off is huge. I do expect to see a lot of side-by-side racing. There's going to be a lot of cars that are going to be extremely quick in the beginning but be extremely slow in the end, so it's going to be really interesting to see who can manage their tires and who can last throughout the whole entire run.
Just looking at where qualifying is, we've got just a few seconds left before we run through that, but it just looks like Lucas at the moment with 28.1. But we touched on obviously whether or not Thomas and Martin would be quick in the Lip team there, following their Daytona victory, and they're right up there as well. Currently second and fifth overall in qualifying. So yeah, it looks like they're a good package, not just on the super speedways.
Well, they seem to have a lot of speed going on right now. We're definitely going to have to see how they do throughout the race. They were really quick in qualifying. They were also both in the top 5 during the practice session as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how they can hang against 20, 30 lap runs.
And Matt, you got a couple of guys in this race as well. They missed the first round, but they're here. Just what are they hoping to get out of the race? Any expectations?
Yeah, we got a couple of academy guys in here, Jake Forster and Josh Drinkwater, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. I think in terms of where we were last week, the couple of lap pace was good, but long run was really where it suited us. But we've got to manage the drop off, and the weather tonight's really, really hot, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
And Matt, do you mind if I just ask you just to take us through the grid? You probably know some of these drivers a bit better than I do.
I'd love to say I know them all, but definitely not. Lucas is a new one to me. I've not raced with him. Torres Corony I've raced with. He's really quick, really consistent on long runs, so he's definitely going to be one to watch for. Dennis last season again was one who was really solid long run pace, would always be right up there. Martin Capel, very, very quick for 1 or 2 laps. Whether he has the long run, he's always been somebody who maybe you expect to drop off a little better, but that's something I'm sure he'll have worked on since last year. Vit Solomon, definitely one to watch for. He's always solid on a long run. And Jake Forster sitting in the mid pack at the minute. I know Jake is very, very, very quick. So whether he'll stay mid pack or not usually is dependent on the kind of setup we've been able to give him.
Interestingly, one of the drivers really on there. I mean, I've raced a little bit of it and Jake as well. When I first joined iRacing, did a few NASCAR leagues, and Jake was in there, and he was quick. We had some good races. He got the better of beef most of the time, I have to say.
He's certainly been around the block a few times. Another name to mention there actually is the 112 Harry Tiller. Harry's only been on iRacing probably for 6 or 7 months and still doesn't own all the tracks on oval, but is devastatingly quick for a young guy. And I know for a fact that he'll actually probably only be running the fixed setup, because he doesn't actually even have a clue yet as to how to work with the cars. We've been chatting to him for the last couple of weeks, trying to help him out and bring him on a bit, and he's definitely one to keep an eye on for the future.
195 laps. That's going to tick down pretty quickly. Are we expecting green runs tonight, or are we, is this the kind of track that's just going to breed caution after caution? Sorry, Raul, I'll go to you for that one.
I would hope we see green flag racing. I really want to see how these guys do on a long run. I'd love to see green flag pit stops, to see strategies. This track is extremely easy to drive in turns 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 can be really tricky. It's slick. There's a massive bump on the top of 3 and 4. So it's going to be interesting to see if some of these guys run 1 and 2 high and then 3 and 4 high and then hit the bump and possibly wreck out. So it's going to be really fun to watch. One of the guys that I actually seen, he was actually pretty quick in practice, was Michael Johansson. He's starting 24th. He was 8th quickest in practice. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on him to see if he goes up through the field.
Yeah, there's a few people last week that didn't have the best car in queue, but the cars looked absolutely solid, and I think we're going to have to keep an eye out on that for the rest of this race. So give it a few runs, and we'll sort of see the field settle itself down. But here we go then, round 2, European Stock Car Championship. Wait for the green flag to drop, and it has done. Not the best of start from Lucas there. He just got himself caught napping. Didn't even go when the green flag went out, and straight into second place.
Somebody took a bump in the middle of turn 2 and ended up in the wall there.
Yeah, we seem to be okay. Everyone's got round the first few corners okay. So yeah, we're good to go. I'm racing. The Thomas from Lucas, Dennis in third. Familiar group, I have to say. Martin there in 4th place, Christian in 5th.
Put a 3 wide coming out of turn 2 there with Harry Tiller. Just looking at the inside of the 38.
For some unknown reason, I'm not seeing everybody on track, which is a bit weird. We had a few non-starters in this race, or
It looks
Maybe
like
not.
Lucas is running really good lap times. I was actually watching him the last 2 laps. He's running about a tenth quicker, and he's starting to reel down Thomas at the moment.
I've got a few people that have gone in for pits as well. So we must have seen. There must have been something off camera that we haven't seen. I wonder, Matt, can you sort of check that out? See why people are into
I'll
the pits?
have a look into it.
Because I think we've lost a few people already because of that. No caution flag, so yeah, well, that's a strange one for sure. Here comes Lucas up the inside of Thomas. Got a good run. Out 3 and 4. Yeah, I have to say, Raul, you're right there. His car does look particularly good. He was sort of pinched a little bit low there, but he was able to drive his car through 1 and 2. Didn't look like there was any issues whatsoever there. So, car looks good underneath him in race trim already.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to wait and see how he does here in about 10 laps. He's consistently running about a tenth to 2 tenths quicker than the field itself. He's pulling away, but we'll see how he treats the right rear tire and see if he starts sliding everywhere.
Yeah, the update there was a few cars that were disqualified.
Oh,
Black flag, so I'm not sure what's gone on there, but
I wonder if that was something from the previous round, the penalties. I didn't check. Can we have a look at that?
could be
Yes,
some league admin.
there was some penalties, and that's exactly what it is. So penalties have been issued from the previous round as well. So yeah, we won't go into what they are, but they're all there on the website if you want to check. If you want to check out more about the series as well, head over to eurostockcars.com.
And we have a yellow flag.
Everything's on there. Caution is out, and it looks like a Wilbo Pot involved in that. Oh, his car is... Well, that's an engine gone. What's gone on there? Let's take a look back. Having a look on the replay. Oh, someone got loose ahead. Well, actually, 2 cars got loose. Both on their own. But it's it's Wilbo into the wall on his own. That motor looks done, I have to say. 8 laps of 195. Not what you want to do. I don't think, Matt, there.
No, certainly not what the start you'd want. Just looking into the air, it's just the guy who just got loose. I think, in fact, the guy in front got loose, and Wibbo had the same thing at the same time, near enough, and kind of overcorrects it. And
Alex, I know one of the drivers that I called out for this race was Michael Johansson. He picked off 7 cars in the 7 green flag laps that we had. So he's moving up through the field. He's up to 17th. We'll see, how much longer it'll take him to get up to the front.
yep, the 2 cars that both got loose. Interestingly, both did the same thing. He was trying to hold that low line coming off of turn 2, and with the weather as hot as it is, the rear tyres at Atlanta are taking a real kick in. So that's what you'd call a classic Atlanta crash, I think.
Lucas just couldn't quite get the power down coming out the pits there, and he loses a place off of the pit road to Thomas again. So got a few drivers that have stayed out as well. A big shout out to everybody watching in on YouTube. Thank you very much for tuning in. Don't do much NASCAR TV broadcasts here on Apex Racing TV, but I was glad to be back doing it as well. So, and thank you for watching. Any questions or anything like that I have, just whack them in the chat. I've got a little eye on it, so we'll try and answer those throughout the race best we can. Well, Matt, Harry feels like he would have won this race. Confidence. Certainly got it, hasn't he?
He's not lacking a little bit of self-belief, is he, at all? He's certainly not shy in going forwards, I can say that much.
Drivers that stayed out were Marcus Hagman and Thomas there as well, so just 2 in the end.
Yeah, it's surprising to see him stay out after 7 or 8 laps, although could be tactical, especially if Marcus decides to pit now. That'll be a clear sign that that'll be a clear sign he intends to just run round at the back and try and avoid any trouble early on.
Yeah, it looks like Thomas is going to stay out.
This could bring some fun and games off the restart.
Get his lead lap in there, won't he? So he'll take that.
Yeah, interesting. I was watching a couple of people in the Peak Series race the other night doing the same thing, whereby if you drive through when pit lane opens, if you do a drive-through lap, then actually when it goes 1 to green, the pit lane stays open, so you can go and do your pit stop and drop to the back that way and pick up a couple of bonus points through doing that.
Yeah, correct. You would have to pit before you get to 2 to go if you don't enter the pits. Coming to the 2 to go and the pits close. If you do pit on that last lap, it'll give you a stop and go penalty. So surprised the Ford didn't pit here, but we'll see what he has here, because the drop off even after 10 laps is pretty big.
He's going to have to watch his rears when he gets going as well. There's always a good chance he could light the rear tyres up.
Here we go then. Second restart. But he got absolute flyer there, you're right. Just couldn't quite get the power down, could he? Getting swamped all of a sudden as well. We're going to be 3 wide. Dennis up top.
Yeah, he's going backwards at a rate of knots. That's the difference with fresh tyres versus old.
Yeah, crazy. And we're still watching him now as well. The driver's just steaming by him as well. It really does look like he's got major damage or something out of there as well. So, what was the lead and going across the line? Well, not even across the line. Now finds himself all the way down in 11th place. So, how quickly it can change.
At this point, Alex, I think Thomas, having the lead, he's got about a 0.6 of a second lead. He really should manage his tires and let Lucas just overdrive the car, let him catch him, let him by, and then within about 3 laps, he's just going to go right back around him. So he has the option to control the first couple laps here.
Must have been watching the chat there, mate, because one of the questions that came in was, what can they do to try and help save the tyres around here? Is it, what can the driver do, or is it most of it in the set? As Lucas has a look down the inside.
Not quite going to make that work, I don't think, there. High lane just a little faster at that point. There is quite a lot you can do to try and save the tyres. The set obviously is enormously important. You've got to have a good balance in the car, otherwise the thing will just tear itself to pieces. But certainly you can lift going into the corners a little earlier and just be really smooth, really gentle with your steering inputs, and again with the throttle on the way off the corner just to try and stop it from spinning up. I mean, the tyre model on the cars at the moment is so temperature sensitive that you really need to try and stop and eliminate as much wheel spin as you can with the throttle.
The biggest thing I'm actually realizing, Lucas is driving the corner really, really deep.
Sorry guys, just watching Alexandro there, just running the high line. He just drove straight around Dennis and looked like he was going to get a run on Lucas Buller there as well, but Lucas just chopped his nose off coming out of the corner and he had to check up massively. So they're all good, but yeah, I'll tell you, he's making that high line work really, really well, carrying a lot of speed off of there. But just watching him now do it again, exactly the same, just straight around the outside. Look at the momentum he's carrying off that corner. It's just there's nothing Lucas can do this time. Matt, you better not look at the chat.
Oh, I've no doubt the UK and Ireland crew will be in there giving me some abuse. So.
Yeah.
They're an ungrateful bunch at the best of times. It's always nice to see some people in the chat though and getting involved. It's more entertaining when you're getting some good questions.
Yeah, just looking at your man, Raul, up to 16th now. Hasn't made so much progression in this this stint.
No, he looks like he must have had trouble about a lap or two ago, because he's ran about a second off the pace, or 0.6 off. He could be possibly saving tires, but he was one of the quickest cars that's out there on the track. Now, I'm definitely starting to get the hang of a lot of these drivers, but it looks like him and Dennis are teammates as well, and Dennis is running up, near the top 5, so that's why one of the reasons why I did expect them to be up at the front.
Sandro again making a move, this time for 3rd place. Got a good run. He again used the high line through 1 and 2, great. Got the run, threw it in down low. Completes the move. His car looks very good, like it can run almost anywhere, so great job. See what sort of lap times he does next time by, just to see if he can perhaps reel in on the leaders a little bit. He had 29.2 and 29.3 last lap for them. See what it is this time. Yeah, so 29.4, 29.5, 29.6. So just, he's up against the wall big time as well. Ain't going to get the momentum he wants off there this time. That's 1 place down, 2. And will Dennis throw it in there as well? He's thinking about it.
Michael's really struggling this run. He actually got really loose coming off of 4 and went through the infield grass. He's really fighting with the handle of the car right now. He has no rear grip whatsoever.
And Matt, how long did you reckon we were gonna run on set of tyres before we had pit stops?
Well, the fixed set races last week were going to go in about 25 laps, 26 laps, and then people were starting to pit. Open, see a bigger variation or a bigger difference in that. Some were going in 25, 26. Others who had perhaps a better balance in the car were going longer and trying to run less stops. But the drop-off means that the difference between the two sort of types of strategy is not as big as it would be on somewhere else.
Yeah, right now it's looking like the fall-off pretty extreme. That hot track temperature really coming into effect. Martin as well, fresh off from his win at Daytona, looking pretty handy in 4th place.
Yeah, I was just going to say there, Alessandro's car is really struggling. You can see he's really heating the rears up, and it's he's nearly bitten him a couple of times coming off turn 4.
Yeah, I think after he hit that wall on the outside, and that's something that, Raul, you picked up on as well. Was that just a case of, did he just get in there a bit hot? Maybe was there a bump or anything you were saying there that he's got to watch? I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 he hit now, but he hit that hard, and I guess that's the risk you take when you run up against the wall.
Yeah, there's a massive bump in 3 and 4. It's about the middle of it, and once you catch that bump, there's like no way of even saving it. It's just going to go up towards the wall to begin with.
He hit it again as well, so just going to make that front right even worse. You can see the speed he loses out of it. Dennis up the inside this time, so...
Yeah, and the thing with that right front damage is that you'd expect that it'd make the car push a lot more, but it actually doesn't. Quite a lot of the time what happens is it angles the steering in, gives you some real nasty toe on the front that means you get a rather savage loose snap on exit.
Sorry, Matt. Problem out on track for Luis Rodriguez as well. Just limping around on the inside. Heavy damage on that. Let's go back, see if we can find what that was. Because it looks like it might be his race done. Just caught the tail end of it. He's obviously made contact with the wall. Go back a bit further.
Alex,
I'm not sure Wibbo Pot is going to make any friends either. He's
we're about 15 laps into the run, and one of the things I said earlier is that if you drive 3 and 4, 1 and 2 really hard, you're going to wear your tires off. And looks like Thomas took the lead, and he's starting to pull away.
There you go.
Yeah, I was just saying there, I'm not sure Wibbo's going to make too many friends. He came out of the pit lane and decided to come up onto the high lane of the track right in front of about 4 cars coming up behind him.
Just watching that overtake now also on the replays that happened shortly after the crash that we saw there. So, yeah, like you say, perhaps just gone out there a bit conservative.
Yeah, Thomas is running easily 2 to 3 tenths quicker than Lucas at the moment. If he keeps this up, I mean, he could easily run away with this race.
Oh, Thomas got up really high as well when they were side by side through that overtake. Oh, a little wiggle for Thomas as he completed the move as well. So he had to work for that. It wasn't easy. A good move in the end. Go back to live so we don't miss any more of the action. Vit Solomon closing in on Dennis here as well. Good little grouping actually here. We've got Corentin Peters, who's just taken Alessandro up top there, and we've got Christian, Dennis, Vit as well, all having a great little battle.
Quickest car on track last time round was the 92 of Martin Kappel. Ran a 30.593, so he's sitting behind Lucas Buehler, and the two of them are catching Lucas Srinanek very, very quickly.
And Matt, I'll pick up on what you said at the start of this race as well. Very good over, a couple of laps, but not normally known for the long run pace. But him and his teammate at the moment are doing a great job out there.
Yeah, typical, isn't it? Just as I make a prediction, someone's going to turn it on its head and prove me to be completely and utterly wrong. I'd expect no less. That's the old Murray Walker quote, isn't it? I don't make predictions, I just make prophecies that are immediately proved incorrect.
Jeez, as well. Just for a minute. Yeah. 18 car Lucas, they're getting very, very out of shape. Those rears are cooking right now. And he's just dropping down. You're right, Raul. He just drove it too hard, hasn't he, in the early parts of this run, and just dropping like an absolute stone now.
Of course, it's so hard to try and drive around as well. As soon as the balance of the car goes towards being loose on exit like that, you can try and be as gentle with the throttle as you like, open the steering up as much as you possibly can. But the way we have things at the moment, once it's gone and it's overheated, there is next to nothing you can do to bring it back.
Having another look at a battle out there. It's Miguel Gomez going past Clyde Whiting at the moment, round the outside. Clyde just didn't get a very good run out of the corner there, and yeah, pretty easy pickings for Miguel. Car looking quite good as well, and actually he is lapping pretty quick out there as well. Last time by a 30.8, so one of the quickest drivers out there right now. So long run pace looking good for Miguel.
So yeah, we have Lucas is pitting in now. So that's 22 laps, and he's decided he's had enough of that right rear tyre.
Had to, I think, didn't he? He was just going backwards. Sorry, Raul, we cut you off just a second ago, mate.
No, it's okay. No, I was stating that same thing, that he's running half a second off pace at the moment. He's this next run, either he's gonna have to tighten up the car or just be more patient with going through the field, because sometimes when you do feel like you have a really fast car, you just want to attack the corners and just jet away, but he needs to be a little bit more patient, especially in the beginning of the run.
He obviously makes some changes now while he's in the pits. Is there anything particular you'd be looking at? I think probably changing the wedge on the left rear might help a little bit.
Well, it would really depend on where he's struggling at. It looked like he was struggling on exit, so I would possibly do like a right rear wedge adjustment, just to get the exit tightened up a little bit. That's where everybody I see is struggling at, especially off of 4. Because even Thomas, I'm watching Thomas right now, he looks to be sliding a little bit.
Christian on Corentin here as well, closing in, having a look down the inside through 1. You can see That's Christian just having a big old wiggle. Sorry, it's Corrington having a big old wiggle through the middle of two there. And oh yeah, down. That's a bit early, isn't it? And we're under caution. That's why.
Yeah, there's a wreck right by the leaders too. They got lucky. They even got through that.
Who was it that was involved in that?
I'm just looking for it. It's Michael Hughes.
Let's have a look. See what happened there.
Yeah, he just drops the right rear a little coming off the corner and then gives the wall a bit of a kiss.
That's not going to be too bad. Get that, I don't know, looked like he might have took the motor out with it. It has as well, isn't it? Oh, it didn't look that heavy.
No, the random number generator decided to
Yeah.
throw him the noose on that one. Interesting there is where's that's left Lucas Srinanek, because that he pitted 2 laps before.
Yeah, he's just...
So he came in before that caution. That's cost him a whole lap.
Yeah, showing him a lap down. Gonna have to stay out, I think, here, isn't he? And just get his lap back. Like you say, it was only a few laps before, isn't it? So not too bad.
No, he can stay out. He'll get the lap back.
That was close.
You're going to wave around with 1 to go, and he'll be back on the lead lap. Of course, it'll put him at the back of the field, which is, for somebody who's been running at the front, a little frustrating. That's the roll of the dice you make, though. I mean, the cautions, that's the thing. You find here a lot of people who have struggled with the right rear tyre, especially coming off of turn 4. It can really throw you off. And because of that, you want to pit early to keep the momentum and go in and get the undercut. But the second you do, you are risking being hung out to dry if the yellow comes out.
And Matt, you can probably feel a similar with this as well, as the chat's asking at the moment. Have we got any sort of fast repairs or anything in the series?
I believe there are none. I don't think they include one in the series, to be honest. I can try and check in on that for definite for you.
Yeah, Michael's still stationary in the pits as well, so that looks like that is his day done. Interestingly, Michael Bloom's leading the way at the moment. He's only had the 1 stop, so we'll see if he brings it down to pit road this time by. Saw what happened last time with just with 9 laps, so yeah. And Jake just confirming there's none in the session, so
yep, Jake's another one who received the admin ban hammer. Quite a few falling foul of that early in the race. Not entirely sure what was going on there, but I'm sure the admins know what they're doing.
yeah, Michael coming into pit lane like we thought he would do. Another driver that seems content just to sort of sit at the back and just let the field trip over themselves at the minute, because it is happening. And we saw that to some extent at Daytona last week as well. Sorry, a couple of weeks ago now.
Yeah, it's league racing is always a little bit different to official. Obviously, with official, with the way iRacing is structured, you know, and the I rating system and the safety rating system is, you kind of know that anytime you go into a skill race, you're going to be having people with exactly the same skill level as you, and when you're in a league race, it can vary a little more. So it's always slightly different, and you always expect more cautions in league and hosted sessions than you do in official, just by nature of what they are, really. Not because obviously anybody's doing anything intentional.
Lights are out as well on the pace car, all the way around that we had have been done. A lot of people are lapped down right now as well.
Now that we're about to go green, I know I said it earlier, Lucas is very aggressive in the beginning of the run. We're going to really have to see how patient he is, especially starting at the back. That's one of the things that will get a driver in a lot of trouble, is being over aggressive, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, good restart from everyone. Absolutely nailed it. No one checking up this time. Teammates go to the point 1-2. Familiar scene. Thomas and Martin. Lucas Buller in third. Vit Solomon up into fourth place as well. So it's all changing around. Side by side with Miguel and Matthew there too, as well. Check in on Lucas as well, because we expect him to make up some ground really quickly, and we just see him running low, getting past, I think that was Alessandro and Michael Blom there as well. Car does look very good. Well, certainly in the early stint as well, so. Buller having a little look on Martin here as well, down low. Who's going to get the run off the corner? Looks good at the moment. These guys just instantly gapped Vit Solomon in fourth as well, so just 2 laps and we're talking sort of 7-8 tenths of a second already.
Yep, and it's, you know, the thing is, it's also difficult because you've got the two things to contend with. There is a you know, a skill set difference in sometimes between the front and the back that you get in leagues and hosted races. Additionally to that, obviously with it being open setup, there is going to be some guys that really understand how to make the car fast, and some guys that are sort of making tweaks as best they can based on the fixed set, and that obviously creates a big speed difference as well. So it's when these guys get in amongst lap traffic, it's going to be really interesting.
Man, Lucas is driving that car hard. He went under the white line right there in 1 and 2. He got a little sideways there, but he was able to save on it. But he's in a hurry to get it back up to the front.
Car's good coming off of the corners as well. You can see the extra speed he can just carry off that as well. Just makes the overtakes all the more easy for him as well. Back up to P13. Gonna jump on up, and Dennis is in 6th place, going for a move for 5th.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see him get to 18, 19 laps and have exactly the same issue as last time. Though, you run that hard, and you especially when you're running the low lane, you stress the right rear tyre way more than all the others. So I mean, unless he's made some significant balance changes to the car in the pit stop, I really wouldn't be surprised to see him have the same sort of issues.
Good run here as well. 5th, going into 4th. Bit leaving enough room up top. We're on board with Dennis right now. Trying to hold it down low. Gets the move complete.
It's going to be really interesting to see if we can get a really long green flag run. The three drivers that I've definitely kept an eye on. Lucas has the fastest short car run. Thomas has about a mid-pack car run, and then Lucas seems to have the best long car setup in at the moment. So Lucas was definitely catching Thomas at the end of that last run. So if we're able to at least get a green flag pit stop or maybe 2, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys do shape up, as we see Martin going underneath the 57 of Lucas.
Yep, and I mean, we quite often have arguments with ourselves when we're working in the team in the week and doing setups for the next week's NIS and things like that, that I always prefer to have a car that's fast, and then we try and balance it for the long run off the fast car. And there's another one of my teammates who prefers to have a car that's good over a long run and doesn't worry so much about the speed until he's got a nice balanced car. And is there any way you particularly prefer to go with it, Raul, or is it just entirely personal preference?
Well, my personal preference is I want a short car run, I want a middle car run, and I want a long car run. So
Yeah.
I want all three. It's definitely doable. It's very difficult to get it, to stick. But I would rather have a long car run. That's exactly what I would want out of a car. But you never know if we get a caution with 5 to go, 10 to go. So you always want to test every type of variation you can think of for those types of situations. But if there is anything to pick, you really would want an overall of the three. That'll be the best, obviously the best way to go.
Getting pretty tasty around about 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th at the moment. We're looking at Antoine making a move on Corrington round the outside. Just can't quite hold the speed up top like we've seen some of the others. Look who's joined this little party as well. Lucas is there in 7th place now.
He's really made some progress, hasn't he? He's certainly not hanging about.
Like I say, Raul, if he gets, his short run pace is extreme at the moment. If he gets a caution with about 10 to go, it's going to be very difficult for anyone, I think, to beat him at the end of this race.
It's going to be interesting to see how things develop as well. Obviously, in the next 2 weeks now, we get a complete rebuild for these cars next week. That's going to probably reset anybody's setup knowledge, at which point it'll all be a level playing field again.
Yeah, any news on what we're getting for that one? Any?
Yep, we're getting the current 2016 Sprint Cup low downforce package, so that will it means a much smaller front splitter and a much smaller rear spoiler as well. I think it's a 3-inch rear spoiler as opposed to 6.
It's going to be very fast and very loose. I'm very excited to see what the car drives like, but I do expect to see a little bit quicker speeds, but it's going to be harder to drive, which will be a lot of fun as well.
On board with Martin, trying to size up a Buller here for a move. Can't quite get enough of a run. Oh, very close to the wall.
Lucas has shot up to P6, but looking at the lap times, he's now running 30.2 and the guys around him are only 30.3s and 4s, so his speed advantage is diminishing. He's not going to be shooting forward as fast as he was at the start of the run. That would sort of indicate that he's still got the balance of the car slightly loose.
I think what's going to help him out a lot is if we get a quick caution. He did drive the car really hard. I really honestly would not be surprised in about 5 to 10 more laps. He's just going to start losing all those spots he picked up. The lap times are starting to balance out with the people around them, so we'll just have to wait and see. But I do expect them to fall back again.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw at the start of the race, really, wasn't it? And I think that was why that was what forced him to pit in early, and why he's in this position. And it comes back to your point with why a long run setup is always what we.
Oh, there you go. He got wrecked. He got taken out.
Well, not much you can say about that one. Just trying to complete the move, and was it Corrington? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just got himself loose, trying to hold on to that position, and yeah, a little bit of aftermath in there as well. Lucas just giving him a little bump, but oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he did try to avoid it. I mean, he had the wheel cranked to the right, but he barely got into Lucas there, and pretty big wreck in the backstretch. Took out a really, really quick car.
Go on board with Corrington, see exactly what happened.
Yeah, Lucas total passenger there, nothing he could do. You do see that with these cars. It's going to be interesting to see again when we mentioned about the low downforce build that we're going to get. We've seen a lot of times with these cars that as soon as you get side by side, the aero gets affected quite badly, and the inside car has a tendency to push up towards the outside car quite a lot, But also, if you're on the outside, you can find that you get really, really loose when you have a car next to you or very close to your rear.
I tell you what, just looking at the replay back there as well, Quentin was loose very early in the corner as well, but just tried to drive it hard around the outside, and sometimes it's just better just to go, yeah, I lost that place, rather than try and hold it out there, and yeah, it bit him hard.
Yeah, and that little wiggle on the way in, that's all it takes. That little wiggle on the way into the corner, that'll have heated the right rear tyre. The second you then try and get in it hard coming off the corner, it's just not going to stick.
Yeah, he, just by looking at what I'm able to see here, it looks like in the center of the corner he got on the gas a lot quicker, and that just seemed like it upset the car there.
I'm gonna quickly see if we can get Lucas up here for a chat. Actually, now the guys did say I was free to just drag him up, so we'll see. He might not speak to us, or he might do. Lucas, you alright to have a quick chat with us just for a second? We can see that you're in the pits getting your repairs there at the moment. No, he just muted us. I take it that's a no.
No, he's disconnected as well.
That's unfortunate.
I can't imagine what he was going to say there, although I suspect I can probably take a wild guess.
Wow, yes. I think we were expecting the same, but
yeah. I don't know what swearing is like from Central Eastern Europe, but it would have been nice to have learned. It's always good to have a few extra words.
Yeah, I don't race road racing really hardly at all, so I don't really know how it is over there. But really, in the oval side, especially when you have a good car and you get taken out, you don't really want to talk to anybody. So sometimes I don't blame him for not wanting to talk. Sometimes it's better to stay quiet than say something you're going to regret 5 minutes later.
Yep. Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
shame because I think he had a real good chance as well, especially like we were saying, if his car looks so good on the short run, if we had a late caution, it would have been really exciting. I think Thomas and Martin are looking good now. Lucas Buller also, his car's good, but it's not quite as good as theirs. So Miguel Gomez moved his way up as well. Maybe somebody to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out for Clyde Whiting as well. He's worked his way up to P9 quite steadily, and Clyde's another one of those guys who just will be nice and patient early on. It's not going to be in any rush to do anything. He'll be tweaking the car every time he goes in the pits, and he's been around for quite a while on iRacing. Certainly was very heavily involved on the UK and I side. One of the guys who really was instrumental in getting me into NASCAR racing when I first joined, so he certainly knows how to tweak a car through a run.
Look, see who was in some of the channels below. Might be able to grab up next time. Right then, here we go. 62, we're losing people pretty rapidly now, it's fair to say. Race of attrition last time, and carries on like this. 2 or 3 cars going every time. Gonna be just a small pack at the end. Green flag flies again. Here at Atlanta, European Stock Car Championship. Teammates, Lip Motorsport there, into the lead. I think Thomas and Martin are just going to work together again and try and break away from this pack. Gomez not the greatest of starts. Matthew got a bit of a better run, but runs in a bit deep into 3 and 4. Tries to get that position back. Still side by side.
Yep, just classic example there with Miguel. You could see that as soon as you get another car inside, and you always have that tendency to push up I think it's one of the things that we're really hoping to see in coming builds is that we get that side force off cars that are on your high side, or even when you're up next to the wall. I think that's the big thing that we've got to come that will really allow us to run right up against the wall the same way they do in Sprint Cup.
Yeah, Lucas is wasting no time right now. He's up to the lead right now. We'll see how he does.
You know who his teammate is though, don't you? And you know why his car's so quick at this point in the run. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing his teammate anymore after the last instant, but yeah, that just goes to show how good their car is on the short run. Just steamed past the two LEM PLS racing cars there. Oh, and who was that? That was Alessandro into the wall again. He loves tapping that wall, doesn't he?
He does. He's been he's obviously got some fans in the stands up there because he's been giving it a kiss fairly regularly. Surprised to see just how hard some of the guys are running. I've got to be honest. I mean, it's a 195 lap race, so you know, really at this point, you're not actually racing anybody. You should just be looking after your stuff, running nice and steady, conserve your tyres, conserve the car. And the last thing you want to do is pick up a bit of a dent here, because this place is so aero sensitive that a small tap on the wall like that can easily cost you 2 or 3 tenths a lap.
Anton making some moves right now, just gone past Clyde and having a look up the inside of that's Miguel Gomez there. Yep, Miguel. So Miguel trying to hold it around the outside, can't quite do that. Good little fight actually. This is for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th.
You know, Alessandro's been really good this race. He's taking 2nd place right now at the moment.
Missed that, yeah.
Yeah, he's been really patient actually. You know, he seems to be having a really good car, but just, you know, trying to get the car clean. Just like Matthew said, you know, just be patient. You know, it's a long race, but he's going to the front.
Been running that high line, and you know, he's been making it work. Just watching it now on replay, how he's done the move as well. Look at the speed he can carry up there. He's got great confidence. Car's obviously completely fixed up now after the bashing he gave it at the start of the race, and yeah, he was able just to clean drive straight around the outside. Let's see how quickly he can close in on Buller as well, because that could be another car that could be good for the short run. See how it fares on the long run if he can keep it off the wall.
It's interesting to see the variations in strategy, isn't it? I mean, Alessandro and Lucas are really going for it up front and running it quite hard, and Alessandro running that high line. I mean, he's making it work, but you've got to be so careful, especially as the tyres start to balance out and the balance in the car changes through the run, that you don't just give the wall a kiss. And then you've got the guys at the back like Clyde, and Clyde is quite clearly taking his time. He is in no rush to race anybody. He just wants to keep running laps and wearing it down.
And Raul, you'll probably know better than well, certainly better than myself. You know, when you've got full intentions of running that high line, you know, do you build the set around running that line, and you kind of fixed in for the rest of the race if that's the set you decide to go for, or you know, can you just choose to run that line with a car that will work on the on the sort of the regular racing line as well?
I would prefer running the bottom or the middle. Normally, that's really my lane of choice. When it comes to running the high line, it really depends. Sometimes it's difficult to run a practice session, you know, with 30, 20, 30, 35 cars on the track, you know, like we do see in a race. So sometimes when you have that big, that draft push going into the corner, or the aero push, it'll kind of throw your car up a little bit. So you want to kind of start adjusting with the lane. You want to kind of, I let the car drive itself. So if it wants to drive up to the top, then that's where I'll go. But most preferably, the middle to the bottom lane is where I would rather prefer to run. I'm not much of a wall feeder. As a lot of people say, it's just I get too aggressive. I drive too aggressive, and being close to the wall, I am one of those drivers that always, ends up hitting it.
And talking about hitting it, that's exactly what he did just the last lap as well. Cost all of his momentum. The time that he had gained on Lucas there, he's already lost.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think it's just in terms of aero modelling and things like that at the moment. You always hear when you're watching Sprint Cup races and things, the guys always talking about there being a cushion of air that when you get up against the high lane, you can run hard because the ground effect comes in, so the car almost pushes you away from the wall, so you can use it as if you're an ex-motocrosser like me, you use it as a berm and just rail it the whole way around the corner. And I think that's one of the things that we don't quite have at the moment, so to run the high lane you need a car that rotates really naturally and really well.
Yeah, Martin back to P2, his teammate's going to follow him through as well, so just showing that they're definitely gone for the long run performance, slowly working their way back up to Lucas. They did lose a lot of ground this time, it's fair to say, though, way more than they had done on the previous on restarts, even when it was Lucas's teammate that was out front as well. So something they're going to have to keep an eye on, because going to need to try and hold on a little bit better, I think, a bit later on in the race. Pack's starting to spread out a little bit as well. No, maybe. That's Dennis in the background there, just cutting the grass on the infield at the moment. He's trying to hold on to it. Oh, no, he doesn't. Well, we're still green somehow.
He's so lucky not to bring the caution out on that. I mean, he just kept it down below the white line enough to avoid bringing the yellow out.
Yeah, he's gonna have to be careful getting up to speed. That way he doesn't spin his tires and go back up the track.
Those tires will be cooked, and it's going to be almost a lap down by the time he does get it back onto the circuit. I think he's even thinking about bringing it straight back in, is he? Nope. But that's the leaders coming round, so he is a lap down. But he wished the caution flag had come out now.
He's carrying quite a lot of speed in here. Yeah, he does a good job. It's a good job to keep that below the line.
Yeah, just doesn't even want to risk going back out on track. His tyres are cooked, and he knows he's just got to bring it in. But that'll be 2 laps down, so major for him.
Yeah, but I think that's the right call. Bring it in, get some fresh boots on it, get out, just get it running. Long way to go yet. Still more than 100 laps to go, so 2 laps down is not beyond the realms of man to bring back. Especially since he doesn't appear to have any damage on the car, so the car will run as good as it was.
It'll be at the end of the race. It'll be great to see if we can talk to Alessandro, because it looks like he has a lot of front wheel input. I'm almost wondering if his car is just really tight. That car is it's plowing off the corners in 3 and 4.
Sorry, to just cut you off there. We got Marcus Hagman just running through the grass out of turn 4 as well.
Yeah, everybody seems to be starting to struggle now.
And there goes the 99 Marcus. Yeah, he just hit the wall on the inside. He should just lock the brakes up.
Just as I flip away.
Yeah, he should have locked the brakes up. That one could have been avoided.
That's what you're saying, though. I mean, you get those rear tyres hot. The second you get the tyres hot, you just have to absolutely baby them for a lap or two, just to let the temperatures settle down. Otherwise, the thing will tear your head off.
I believe that's 2 teammates right there too, correct?
Yeah, I think they both seem superior cars. Yep.
We got one left. We got the 49 of Michael Johansson. So we'll see how his car. Yeah, he's really loose as well going into the corner. I see smoke coming out of the tire, so he needs to be careful there as well.
We haven't spoke much about Luigi here, but he's having a little run.
I think we're going to see... Sorry, Alex. I think we're going to see pit stops anytime your Taurus Corony is really struggling with the rear end of that car as well.
Yes, Graffini closing in on the back of Whiting now. This is for 6th place, so slow and steady for these guys, but it's working when you look at where they are right now. So 10 seconds off the lead, but yeah, if everybody else is going to fall off around them, then they're just going to keep picking up places.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I was just saying, if the lead cars have to run, I mean, they can pull 10 seconds in a run, great. But if they can only run 25 laps, they've got to go in at 25 laps. If Clyde can run, 35, 40 laps over the rest of this race, that's going to save him an entire pit stop. That's, 40 seconds of time on the track. That's quite a lot to make up. That's going to put him right in the mix at the end.
If I'm Lucas, I'd try to make it to lap 95. I'd pit in 10 laps and run 33 lap runs to the end. That seems like it would be the best way to go, because if they start pitting now, they're going to have to run about a 40 lap run to a 30 and then a 30 lap run. It'd be better to just take this, cautions out.
Looks like Dennis, big time as well. Jumped to him and half of the front end's missing. Let's go back and see what that's all about. Around the outside, someone gets a little bit loose.
Yeah, he drops that all on his own.
Yeah, you could just see it. He's fighting it all the way through. Oh, and then gets a massive whack as well. Who else was that? Who was involved?
Kench.
Ah.
He actually dropped that on entry.
Yeah, Ian with some damage there as well. Just looks... Yeah, he should be able to get that knocked out. Front left. I say that, it's pretty bad, but...
I'm not so sure that's going to buff out, I gotta be honest. That car's got a face like a bag full of smashed crabs. I'm pretty sure that's done. I don't even think a mother could love that.
Waiting to see. Obviously, everybody with four tires is perfect, really, for at the front on the restart. So, both the lit drivers were coming back at him. So, I think it's important for him at this. I mean, this is exactly what they needed, to be fair. Now, obviously, Lucas made some serious ground at the start there. He'll get that 1 or 2 second buffer that he almost built up, and be able to hold on, and like you say, just try and split the pit stops up now. It's a bit early. You wanted 95 Raul really, but 87. Like I say, that leads to a long one. Might you even be better off thinking about coming in for shorter ones, or are we just going to expect another caution in about 25-30 laps time?
With how the race is going, I would expect another caution. If we don't get a caution, I would definitely stretch it out and run a 30-something lap run and try to trap these guys that do short pit a lap down in case we do get a caution a little bit after 25 laps.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this. We saw it, well, in most of the NAS races I ran last week, there were actually quite a lot of green flag runs, but it doesn't surprise me to see this. I mean, it is the top class A car for NASCAR is difficult. It's a really hard car to drive, and it does have, Atlanta does bring out a balance issue with the rear. It does wear the rears hard. You need to be able to set the thing up to balance it properly. So I'm not too surprised to see people struggling with it, especially with the temperatures up this high.
Worth pointing out as well, next race that we go to will be streamed on iRacing Live as well. So first 2 races just on our normal channel, but switching over to that for season 2. Which will, which be great.
Awesome.
No pressure, guys.
Where are they in 2 weeks' time?
Well, I knew you were going to ask me that, so I'm going to try and subtly stall while I'm just loading it up on the website. So it's like load, and it's.
Do they go to Vegas or do they skip it?
It's Auto Club next, so it's 2 weeks' time. So 19th of March for that round.
That's going to be a fun race to watch.
Yeah,
very fun race.
125 laps should be great.
See, that's one of those tracks that really frustrates me on iRacing at the moment. I adore it, watching it on. It's one of my favourite to watch the racing at. And if they can get the thing working and get the tyres and this dynamic track that we've got, which is, I mean, let's be honest, it's made the racing so much better. If they can just get that dialed, then that's going to be such a good track to race on.
I mean, I can obviously draw from my IndyCar oval experience. Excuse me, get him out the room, get out. But do you know what I mean? I love that track as well. So the racing there has been brilliant in every race that I've been involved in. So yeah, like you say, let's see what the new build brings. Hopefully, we'll have some tyre model adjustments as well. Because I mean, we're screaming out for it on the road side of things as well as the oval. So if they can do that and just make this dynamic track surface working better. That'll just be like that's just what everybody's asking for, really, isn't it, right now?
It's just the temperatures, I think, isn't it? It's not a massive issue. It's not a major change. It just would be keep the things a little cooler, and we'd all be happy. Ooh! Oh, there's a big wreck.
Oh, there's a big wreck.
Wow. That's the 52 just went for a gap that was.
Yes, well, Thomas, he didn't need that as well after being towards the front. They've definitely had the pace. I mean, tried to launch that. Let's just watch that back from his point of view as well, because
that's
actually
more.
I'm going to go back a bit further. Yeah, it doesn't look as clear cut as we thought. So we're just on board now, just waiting for the pace car ducks in.
He tried jumping the start and tried to get it looked like exactly what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Go on the outside,
yeah.
And when he changed lanes the way he did, with it being in second gear trying to get up to speed, he just spun his rear tires and got into the 07. And I know I say it all the time, but that's when patience needs to kick in, especially when you have a fast car already. You're going to get past a lot of these drivers, and being aggressive like that, like I stated the previous race, you have to be patient, because the more aggressive you are, it's just going to put yourself in trouble.
Yeah, that's one of those classic examples of when having a teammate is not necessarily always going to help, because I'm pretty sure that what's happened there is he's got a call off his teammate saying the leader's gone, so he's going at near enough identical times, and the cars in front of him obviously looking to react to the body position of the car or the speed of the car, so its visual's not the same. And I think the second you go and charge that outside gap like that, especially somewhere like Atlanta, that gap is always going to disappear. That's putting the car into a hole that is never going to stay there.
Yeah, it's setting back a lap as well. He hasn't managed to get back out before the pace car come around as well. So he's a lap down now. He'll be kicking himself in that cockpit right now as well.
Yeah, and I know Clyde, being a good northern lad that he is, will be the air inside that part of TeamSpeak is going to be slightly red and inflamed as well.
Yeah, it's just that Clyde's just been putting laps in today, hasn't he? Really hasn't sort of been trying to hassle anyone out there or anything, and I think that was his intention from pretty much the outset, was just to make sure he was there at the end, and you just can't. Nothing you can do in that situation.
No, I mean you got to look how many cars are out there at the moment that are undamaged. There's probably 2, 3.
Not many.
4.
Yeah, exactly. You can
5.
count it on one hand, I think.
Now I'm just flipping through the field, having a look. 6. Yeah, 6 cars, and then that's guys can do better than that. Come on, give themselves a collective slap after this. I've raced with enough of these guys to know they all know better. And you've still got 100 laps to go. It's not like it's it's only 50% distance, so.
Yeah, certainly what's going to happen is the second half of this race is going to be a lot quicker as well, just thinned the pack out somewhat now, and I think, like you say, there's a lot of cars out there that are damaged as well, so the pack's going to spread a lot more now as well. I think, fortunately for us, I think we're still on for quite a good battle at the front as well. Lucas, Alessandro, and Martin all look pretty confident.
Well, I hope it goes a little quicker. I'm going to run out of wine gums at this rate.
We're going to start. We're going to start with about 101 laps to go. I'm going to watch an eye and keep an eye on everybody to see if they do 2 more stops, 33, 66, and then go to the end from there. It's going to be really interesting to see if they are going to try to short pit it 25 laps and pit 3 times, or do a 2-stop strategy.
Yeah, with the amount of time that you're getting with fresh tyres as well, I think both options can work, but you kind of got to commit to one. If you're going to go for the longer, you're going to have to sort of save the tyres in the early going so that your drop-off's not as bad. But if you just want to destroy the tyres early on, then do it. But don't think, can't quite make it, I'm going to go in now, because
I'm
not gained the
sure.
advantage in that first stint, have you, really?
I'm not so sure. If we had 120 laps or 110 laps, maybe it might work. But I think from here, you won't lose, or you won't gain enough to be able to make it up.
Alessandro to the lead, great restart. Both him and Lucas had very, very strong cars on the short run, so we'll see how this little fight pans out, because I think could be in for a bit of this at the end of the race. Martin, we know, not quite as strong in these opening laps, trying to hold on to Vit Solomon right now as well. Top behind him is we've got Matt there as well, followed by Miguel Gomez.
Alessandro really quick on that high line through 1 and 2.
Yeah, the only person that we've seen drive by the LB Sim Racing cars tonight as well. They've been destroying everybody, really. But Lucas this time not able to hold on. So yeah, great job, and new fastest lap of the race as well to boot. So yeah, very impressive.
Well, he's carrying a full 5 mile an hour more coming off the corner on that high lane than Lucas was on the inside, which is, that's a big advantage.
Yeah, and these two steaming away from Martin as well. Behind, we saw that the last restart as well. Not quite as much as last time. Luigi as well.
And Alessandro is driving the car like there's 5 laps to go at the moment. His car is really stable. I know I said it earlier, it looked like his car is a little bit tight. It's going to be really interesting to see if he's going to push up to the, up towards the wall again in like 10-15 laps. I wish we could go out and see his right front tires, because he's driving that car really hard.
Yeah, we just jumped on board for it right now.
This is one of those things where you really wish you could see the thermal camera that iRacing we're going to we're hoping to put in for this build, where you can see the track temperatures, because that high lane, we talk about the dynamic track, with the track temperature up as high as it is, and everybody else running the middle and low lane, that high lane may well be really working for him, and that actually might be, if he set the car up to run that lane, that might pay dividends for him later on.
He's been running up there enough as well that there is no marbles or anything like that that's going to slow him down. He's had it all cleared off, so he's just needs to carry on working it. He's built his lead up to 1.3 seconds. We just jumped back on board with Lucas for now. He was absolutely flying on that last restart, and just looks very slow in comparison. Maybe trying to save a bit of tyres here, Raul. Heard what you said and thought, well, let's take it a little easy and go from there.
They might be listening in. They might have a couple people watching and doing just that. But I still say that the winning strategy, if it goes green, do a two-stopper from here. In 33 laps and 33 lap stints is going to be the way to go. He's been fast all race too. I mean, there's no doubt about that. So I don't see why he would take a chance to short pit it. Being in the top 5 the whole race, he's not going to gain anything. If anything, he's just going to put himself in a bad spot.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think if you run, what would you run? You'd run 25. Yeah, 4 sets of 25, so you'd stop 3 times. I'm not so sure that you would gain in the 6 or 7 laps between it. I'm not so sure that you'd gain enough that you would save the 40 seconds odd it would take for a pit stop. I don't think you could claw that back.
Worth picking up as well that Matthew is also Martin's teammate as well, so Martin may well have lost Thomas earlier on with the restart, but still looking strong. Got a lot of support out there as well. Luigi as well in the his teammates obviously leading the race, so we know he's got a quick car, but just not quite as comfortable as running the high line, but still running pretty decent out there in 7th place, trying to work on Vit Solomon right now.
Yeah, again, just watching again, that high lane, Alessandro is still carrying a full 4 mile an hour more on corner exit than Lucas is behind him.
He definitely is gaining. He has those good runs off the corner, but the last 2 laps he's lost about 6/10 on him. Lucas is actually reeling him down again.
Yeah, 0.2 of a second that last lap. See what it is as they cross the finish line here. Obviously, back marker in the way at the moment. Yeah, when you look at the times, this there's only half a tenth or so in it this time, so 29.795 compared to a 7.22, so pretty close. But I think that's mainly come down to the back marker more than anything.
It's definitely closer, but their times are stalling out. Now Lucas gained a ton on him right there.
Oh god, yeah,
eating him up.
I don't. The high lane through 1 and 2 looked great. The high lane in 3 and 4, I think, is perhaps a touch of extreme optimism. I'm really not sure that's the way to go.
Yeah, his car is really tight. I mean, I'd be surprised if at the end of the race he says he was loose, but that car just looks like it's way too tight to be running the top lane in 3 and 4.
Yeah, everyone coming back to each other as well now. This is exactly what we wanted to see. Oh, back marker's going to get involved here.
It's got to say as well, though, isn't it? As much as we pick on iRacing sometimes, that the dynamic track has, certainly on certain tracks like Atlanta, there's a definite high lane that works at Charlotte. Turn 3 and 4 at Chicagoland has a definite high lane now that before it didn't. I mean, has made a big difference, and it is making the racing much better.
Yeah, there's a bit of a debate going on in one of the forums that I can't say too much more, but just from me saying that, you'll know where it is. About whether or not it should continue with dynamic, because obviously the extremes in the times that they can do from hot to cold tracks and things like that, and I just think, as I said in there, I was like, let's move forward. Let's get this tire sorted out as well, so it's not so affected by the extreme temperatures as much, and that's just going to make the racing even better. It's something the whole community, I think, is screaming out for at the moment. Is new tire model version 7, and have it fix this crazy hot coldness. We'll crawl around on laps to make sure the outlets are slow as possible, so we get the best qualifying times as possible, and just trying. Everything is all about trying to keep the temp down, and if they can just fix that again, we'll be. I just think the setups will be a little bit different, and the racing will be even better than what it is now.
I think the V6 tire has been great. At least for me, it has. I'm not much of a hot lapper. I'm more of a consistent 10 lap run, 20 lap run, 30 lap run. So, seeing a lot of these guys that were used to just abusing the tire and running, lap after lap after lap, consistent hot laps. It's definitely been great to see the massive tire drop off that there is.
Yep.
So I've been all for it, to be honest with you, because it shows you who's more consistent now than just a one lap hero, I guess what we call it. So now with the new lower downforce package, it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to get the speeds again, and then with the tire, it's gonna be awesome. I think it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, they can't lose any of that. The fall off that still needs to remain. It just need to doesn't need to all be heat based. I think still a lot of it.
Yeah, we tend to find, I find running mostly in the NASCAR stuff is that we hit there's two cliffs. There's a thermal cliff where you hit 270, 280 with the tire, and then suddenly it becomes really loose, like snap loose, and it's really difficult to keep that back. And then if you can manage that, you then get to a wear cliff later where it sort of plateaus out and you get a really good drop off. And certainly the drop off is, as Raul pointed out, it really does make you think about how you drive the car, and it makes you be a bit more sensible. And in theory, if you get long green flag runs, it really pays off to be smooth with the car, and it's certainly something I'm enormously in favour of. I think the only thing I'd like to see is that maybe it's just a little easier, or it's a little better to keep the tyre a little cooler. The wear and the drop off is great, just the heat. If you can keep the tyre a little cooler so it doesn't hit that edge where it suddenly becomes a bit greasy, or too greasy, snap greasy on the rear, then it'll be perfect. And with the low downforce package and the cars moving around and things, I think it'll be amazing. And I really hope we nail it the way we hope it will. I'm sure they will.
Well, I think we just need to cross everything, fingers, toes, legs, arms, everything. Just hope that old Dave Gamer pulls his finger out and gives us what we want.
Oh, the mass that he puts into it is incredible.
Yeah, send him more pizza, I think that's what we need to do.
Yep. And I should say as well, I do owe iRacing a big thanks. I did email Tony a few weeks ago and say about NIS, could we have an extra time so that it'll allow anybody in Europe to be able to run. And so far, I think on the Wednesday night that they brought in, they're seeing a lot more participation from European guys, which is brilliant. So certainly iRacing, we're not ungrateful for everything they give us. A lot of what they give us is really top notch.
Some pretty big gaps starting to form up now as well. The front three, fortunately for us, still relatively close, but no real action. But yeah, everyone's spreading apart. Closest battle is this one between Peter and Thomas here. Got to keep an eye on the packs. The race is a little bit further back. They're still for 9th and 10th, mind you. Bit of traffic ahead of them. Oh, just a little out of shape as he pulls out. That was Jensen there.
I believe we're on about 22, 23 laps on this run right now. So we should expect to see some of these drivers hit the pits in about 10 laps or so, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and we're falling into that window as well for the the potential 3 stops as well that we were saying some might decide to go. So
that's interesting as well as Alessandro's lap times. He did drop off the middle of that stint. He started to go off quite quick, but he seems to have sort of calmed his temperament maybe a little bit, or just learned to drive around what was happening with the car. And he's now sitting behind Martin Kappel, and he seems quite comfortable there actually. And the lap times have plateaued off again, so he's nice, and he's sitting quite pretty in 3rd place at the minute.
Correct, and when I brought up earlier that it looked like his car was tight, a lot of these guys also on the end of the run, they're wicked loose. So it might be an advantage to him to be tight overall, because you're right, he's actually running really good lap times. He's not dropping off like he was earlier. So it looks like his car is actually starting to stable out again. And there's a car really, really slow up on the top lane.
Yeah, is that Pedro Rodriguez?
Yeah, he just got hit by Thomas.
Wow.
the sigh probably wasn't picked up on the broadcast there, but it needs to be, because yeah.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what that was about.
He got
off
loose,
the track and then
he got loose and come back on, and then
it was still loose at that point. I mean, he gets going. There's a big gap behind him. He needs to just drop that down below the apron, not run the middle of the track.
That took 2 cars out of the top 5.
Yeah, sometimes I'm sure you do things you regret, and right now there is one for Pedro. Yeah,
I understand the 46s. He's really mad. Matthew's really upset, but I don't know if he knew that the Pedro was loose, and I mean it's hard to just get off the track, especially after you heated up the tires.
Yeah, I mean he's still almost half spinning when he gets back on, so it looks like he's coming up, but he's not. It's just a pure thing. He's off the grass and the rear's still going on him. I think it's when he starts to roll again. At that point, he just needs to be really careful with the tire and just drop it down nice and steadily and drop it below. But right as the cars are coming up behind him, he gives it a handful of gas on the banking and it just drops the rear.
Yeah, Thomas's car's a mess as well right now. He might get some repairs done, but it's never going to run as good, and he just hasn't got enough laps left in this race to fix it up for the end of it. So I think his chance at a win's pretty much gone there.
I'm watching Thomas and Matthews on board, and from watching the onboard, they can't see that car that had spun out in the front stretch. So it's understandable that they're really upset, but it's almost like they didn't know that he had got loose.
Let me see if I can get back far enough to see exactly that. Yeah, exactly that. So we're just coming on board. You're right. He's already up, and it just slow. Oh, I think we've gone back a lap too far. So yeah, let's keep an eye on it here as well. So we're on board with Matthew right now. Got his teammate just ahead of him. They did say last week that they didn't have an awful lot of luck with their other teammates as well. So you can see how much Matt's struggling with the car as well, and his teammate ahead of him is very loose. They're really just fighting the car all over the place. Oh,
yeah, Pedro was on the gas, and his car it's still sliding around. It's just hard because even if he would have got on the gas and just thrown the car to the bottom of the apron, I mean, he could have easily spun his tires and just shot right back up the track to begin with. It's hard to sometimes call again.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think it's very easy to make a snap decision when you see it, and certainly from the perspective they had in the car, it's going to be really difficult, and they're just going to see a car coming up and being in the middle of the track and not understand what he's trying to do there. But you watch that from his cockpit and you can see he's still trying to wrestle the thing, and he gives it a bit of gas trying to straighten it up and get it going, and it just drops the rears on him and spins him, and that's... Yeah, you watch that from in his cockpit, and I think he's more of a passenger than it looks.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't intentional at all. It's just, it's hard to get out of the way sometimes.
Yeah, he just couldn't get back up to speed either, could he, really, enough?
No, it's difficult. It's difficult to get back up to speed after you've heated up the tires like that, because really to get up to speed quickly, you have to get on the gas hard, and you cannot do that at all. I mean, you barely hit the throttle, 50%, and those tires are spinning. So there's not much you can do other than get the car to go slow. And like I said, if he would have just swung the car to the left, that car would have just spun right out. So he had to do what he had to do, and it would stay where he was at. There's nothing. It's hard to say sometimes, but there's nothing he could have done.
No, that's one of those ones where actually, if anything, it depends how you run it, but if you have a live admin, you've got to be looking at them to throw a yellow at that point, because they should see what's going to happen there. But it's easy with 2020 hindsight to sit you with watching replays and say that.
Yeah, and reacting to that as well, seeing that on track and reacting to it quick enough is, what did we have there? 10 seconds, you know. We were just fortunate enough that we just saw what happened. So,
and as a competitor, it's hard to just get off the gas. You know, I mean, they could have also been off the gas to see it, but they chose to stay in it.
Here we go. Restart again. It looks like Thomas has made some move around the outside of on the restart. Not giving up. So he's working his way back up there as well. So still 2 lit cars in and around there. We'll see how Matthew goes for the rest of the run. But up front, it's looking pretty tasty.
I tell you who this suits, mind, is Alessandro.
Yeah.
This suits him. If he's got a fast short run car, he can now do, 2 20-lap goes, 2 25-lap goes.
Oh, I've got another caution
now.
I hate to say it. Oh, unless that's Pedro just coming out. Oh, no, I think it's Thomas. Yeah, it's Thomas.
Yeah, there's not Pedro this time.
He was just coming out from the pits. I just saw the slow car on the timing sheet and I was like, oh no, please don't. Right, let's take a look. What happened here?
Oh,
3 wide. We're on the apron coming up. Oh, okay. Well, who was that who was on the apron?
I'm not sure you can blame the 17 for that. I don't know if Thomas has got his spotter turned off or not, but
Gonna take a look at that back actually. Oh, not far enough. To jump into the pits now, get another set of boots. Or are you just not worried about it? It's not gonna be enough.
If only done half a lap, I'm not sure there'd be. But with a really bad setup, I don't think you can burn them up at that point.
I just think that's the case of when you're under the apron, under the white line there, you're at fault, aren't you? From Lewis's point of view there, I just think if you come up on track and can't pin it on the white line, then you got to take some responsibility of that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not. Some admins will say it's okay because Clyde is quite clearly damaged and really heavily off pace, and he comes back onto the track going round the corner, and I suppose it becomes a question of would he have been able to hold it in that inside lane, and has the 4 car come down across 2.5 lanes too much?
As an admin, I've got my book and I've just thrown it at him. That's it, I think. You were to ask me, so we'll see what Hugo says. We'll have a look on the penalised, on the penalties on the forum and the website for the next round. But
what's your opinion on that one, Raul?
The incident that happened between Luis right now, it's tough. I don't know what he was doing down there to begin with. Not gonna ever work. I mean, even if the 4 wasn't out there of Thomas, I mean, he still would have hit the wall. It's just not gonna work. I don't know what. Just leave it at that.
Some of these guys are going to be wishing it wasn't on iRacing Live next week, aren't they?
We don't put anything on iRacing Live just to say, this is the best racing in the world. It's all about embracing what we do as a series and having a lot of fun with it. So.
Yeah, I can't see the YouTube chat, but I'd be interested to see what some of the comments are. I suspect I could guess at what a few of them are.
Oh, they've all been after you, mate. They're waiting for you to come in here and start to bite back because they've been giving you some grief all night long. But I've been shielding you from it. You're all right.
No, I'm not. I don't listen to the word they say. I got a dual role. Obviously, I'm club manager UK and I'm sort of helping to try and push the oval side of things within the club for a long time, and so a lot of people give me abuse on a fairly daily basis. To be honest, I don't pay any attention to him. It'll be the usual crew, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. You know it.
Lucas is saving. I want to call him out on it, but he's shutting his engine off here. He's actually been saving fuel. Gonna be interesting to see what he's gonna try to do here.
You could one stop from here, I suppose, if your car's particularly good.
You could, but I would still go with the. Actually, yeah, the one stop would still be good. 30 lap run here.
Hopefully Cody will be back next week as well. If anybody's wondering where he is, suffering from a bit of the man flu at the moment, tucked up in bed. Okay, I'm still watching replay, sorry about that. I'm going crazy. Sandro around the outside again. Lucas trying to hold on to it from Martin. Gomez in there as well. He's been there or thereabouts for a little while around that high line. Oh! Thought for a minute he was going to try and drive it straight around the outside of Lucas there, but just can't quite hold it there.
Wasn't
down low.
Wasn't Thomas involved in an accident not long ago?
Yeah, Thomas was into the wall, wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's up at third.
I thought that was him done. He was a lap down after that as well, so he got his wave around and back onto the lead lap, and yeah, here he is again.
Yeah, he was racked out. He's got nothing to lose. He's gonna go for it.
And I think you're right. I think there's a potential trying to get all the way to the one stop really from Lucas here. He's not pushed his car at all in these early laps compared to what he has done previously.
Yeah, I mean, he saves his tyres well enough, as we say. It's 40 seconds is probably what you're going to lose in the pits and coming in and out, so if he can afford to run a bit slower and look after his tyres and just really be careful with what he's got.
Alessandro hit the wall off of 4 again. He hits it a couple more times and I start seeing his roll cage.
He's got shares in concrete or something, the way he's been kissing that wall. He's determined to knock it down. Maybe he's getting a kickback if he has to rebuild it.
Yeah, Luigi closing in on Vit as well. This is about 6th and 7th place. 10th of a second quicker last time by. Just haven't seen Luigi take up the Highline challenge like his teammate has and just drive straight around the outside of these cars. He's, we assume they're running the same setup there, and the car's capable of it.
It's one of the things though, isn't it? You see it through 1 and 2. He makes a nice decent gap through 1 and 2 and pulls away down the back straight, and then he goes into 3 and 4 and runs the high lane and immediately surrenders 4 or 5 car lengths on exit. He's obviously listening to us because he's now decided to run the bottom this lap.
What you get?
There goes Alessandro hitting the wall again. Well, he's driving hard, man. He's done a good job running the top lane. He's been like the only car that I've seen running the high lane. Surprisingly, he hasn't caught that bump in 3 and 4, so I think he's very aware of it.
Side by side, Solomon and Gomez. Luigi trying to get in on that as well. Yeah, Gomez really dropped off. He was right with the leaders as well, so after a few laps just started dropping back. Seems right round the outside of it. if you get the line right, you can carry so much speed through there, and yeah, proof in that just takes that P5 back. Worth picking out.
We're on for a good race at the end of this year. These top 4 of their
I think
pace
you're right,
is really
actually.
similar, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good end.
And Raul's worth picking out. Your man still doing his thing in 11th place as well, Johansson. So
Yeah, Michael was actually caught up in that wreck in the front stretch from that restart. So he's got a bunch of left front damage. He's getting it fixed, but I expect him to finish in the top 10. Really good run, especially where he started, towards the back.
Thomas looking to put a move on Fowler here. Got a good run out of 3 and 4. We throw it into 1, decides not to. All these guys slowly working their line up as well through 1 and 2 now. Definitely sort of the high side of the middle lane.
Someone else that I kind of... Oh, sorry about that. No, I was going to say someone else that I kind of want to throw out there is it's Peter. I know last week I was talking about Peter, how he kept his car clean throughout the whole race. He came out with a good, solid top 10 finish. This week again, clean car, no issues. He's having another solid top 10 run. So he's showing a lot of consistency. Running up towards the front, I'm almost kind of curious to see who he's working with. Maybe possibly struggling a little bit with speed or not, but another good week for him as well, having a clean race.
And consistency makes all the difference come the end of the season. It's a long season, a lot of points up for grabs, and if he can just keep grabbing top 10 finishes, then it's gonna make a big difference. About to put a move on Matthew as well. We know Matt got all that damage.
Leaders coming up to a couple of lap cars that are quite slow here, so this is going to be interesting to see if this shuffles the order somewhat. They're really running close together.
Yeah, 10th of a second separate all 4. 0.358 covers the top 4 cars as they come across the start-finish line that time by.
Well, that was close.
Back markers out the way.
Good job by the 2 back markers as well. They knew they were coming and just got out of the way. That's good to see. Thomas having a good wriggle coming off there. He's already got issues with his rears.
I know it's also hard to say, but caution's out.
Oh,
that was so close.
Who was that?
That was Peter, the guy I was just talking about.
If we, I think that's...
Change of underwear.
I think that's commentary curse at its absolute worst there as well. Sorry, Peter.
I'd love to see that from the cockpit of Alessandro, because he's literally...
We'll get a replay of exactly what happened. Oh, he loses it again. He sort of recovered it and then lost it again. So let's go back, see exactly what happened to the first incident, then we'll switch it up and take a look at on board from the leaders.
I don't know what the Italian for Jesus, Mary, and Joseph is, but I bet that's what he was screaming as he came through the corner.
He was just trying to go around the outside of Matt there and through the sort of the tri-oval section and just hit the wall, basically that gap that we said just disappears. And let's just take it back and just jump on board with the leaders.
Alex, the 43 of Peter, he saved it and kind of came down the track and tried to go. He did exactly what I knew the 68 would have done. He got on the gas pretty hard to try to take off. He spun his rear tires and shot back up the track. I know a lot of the lead cars are pretty upset at him for staying there, but if he would have tried to go, I mean, he probably could have taken one of them out. It's also the leaders, to kind of have an awareness of what's going on around them.
Yeah.
If you're, I would have a good look at that from the cockpit of Lucas Brüller, and I've got to give him a bit of credit for just phenomenal car control, because at the point at which he's going to have seen that car in the middle of the track, whilst running the middle, to get on the brakes, slow it down, turn up to avoid him, and then not hit the wall.
Yeah, he was having a look at a move, wasn't he, as well at the time?
That is a phenomenal job.
Yeah, amazing. Absolutely amazing, you're right. From the onboard shot there. Saw him just, like you say, brakes, let the guys just get past on the outside, and easy to do when you bleed up wide there from the inside lane. You normally end up in the wall yourself, so yeah, great job.
It would have been so easy in that position to just stand on the brakes and bury it straight into the side of him, or turn right and wall the guy next to you. So yeah, just phenomenal. That's move of the race, I think, right there.
Right, so Matt, who we got left on the lead lap now? We've got a few guys pitting. They're still going to be okay. Looks like if you're on the lead lap, you're looking good for, 11th place at the moment. Maybe top 10?
I think this caution helped out Alessandro a lot. He's got such a good short car run. I think we're going to restart with around a little bit less than 50 to go, if I'm not mistaken. He can easily go 22 lap runs and smoke these guys. If he can pull away and just be as aggressive as he can. I know I've talked about being patient, but if you know you have such a good short car run, I mean, go for it. Just be aggressive now, pit in 20, 22 laps, and then go aggressive again. I think he can actually pull away with this now.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if Lucas or I mean, Martin Kappel, I know, is a guy who is really, really quick over a single lap or two, a short run usually. So is there some pace in the car they haven't shown yet, where they've just been trying to look after it for long runs? It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. I think we're in for a good finish. Just hopefully it goes green and they don't all wreck each other or something, because that wouldn't be great. You got to say, these four guys have been the class of the field as well, haven't they? They've had a pace advantage on everybody from the first lap, really.
Yeah, exactly. There was a couple of quick cars in there as well that, we lost earlier on, but yeah, they've been there or thereabouts all race long.
Who's your money on them, boys? I think Alessandro is gonna be really tough to beat from you.
I think you're right, actually. Car looks very, very good.
If it stays green, I think Lucas will win it. If we keep getting cautious, Alessandro's going to win it.
Yeah, I don't think Lucas is going to be as conservative as he was on the last restart as well. So he was saving a bit of fuel. Looked like he was trying to do it with just the one stop, making sure that he was good to the end. I think this time he's just going to absolutely go for it as well. Got ducks in. Here we go then. Oh, gets a big old wiggle, does Lucas off the restart. Alessandro's clear by an absolute mile.
Yeah, I don't know if Alessandro heard me or not, but he took off. He's out of here.
It's like somebody stuck half a hundredweight of wasabi up his backside. He is not hanging around, is he?
Oh, that's a great restart as well. So 8/10 clear, still pulling as well.
$20 laps, I don't know what you think about it, Raul, but 22, 23 laps for a green run is always that really difficult distance as well, because there's the temptation to just absolutely go at it like a bull in a china shop at the beginning. But of course, it's quite easy if you push too hard to actually burn your tyres up in 10 laps instead of making them last 20. So trying to pick a pace to run to keep it quick over that kind of period is almost like a really difficult, like a middle distance.
Well, he's definitely been able to hang to the lead for about 10 laps, 10, 15 laps. So if he knows he can hang on to it for those 10, 15 laps, I mean, do what you've been doing all race, be aggressive, and then, you know, the final 7 laps, I mean, just try to drive it as hard as you possibly can, and salvage your, you know, the time that you've gained, and then redo it again. I think it's going to work out for him in the better run.
You're checking out right now. Our gap's up to 1.6 seconds. I mean, he's just absolutely flying out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's done 28.8, 28.8 last 2 laps, with Lucas running 29.2s. But like I said, I mean, if he shoots off too quick, then it may just burn it up a bit quicker than he's thinking, and it may just help these guys out.
Rob Earthling and Luigi having a good little battle out here right now as well, side by side. We haven't seen too much of Rob on the stream tonight. Good to see his car looking pretty tidy as well. Clean, no damage. But we don't curse him as he just puts a move on Gomez and moves up to 6th place as well. So pretty much go time for everybody now. They know they're going to have that one stop, and yeah, like you say, tyres are good, so just giving it a little bit. 2.8 seconds, I'd say, up front. What the? Where was this pace earlier on? Let's hope.
I think we guessed at the wrong person's sandbagging, didn't we?
No, I think Alessandro knows what's kind of going on. I think he knows that he's got a really good car in the beginning of the run, and I think he can afford to go 20 laps as hard as he possibly could and then pit. And if, for example, I mean, if anything, if he starts to drop off around lap 15, lap 10, he's not falling off half a second. He's only falling off about a tenth or two a lap. Yeah. So even at that, I mean, I think if he pits with the 2.5 lead, I mean, he's gonna run away with this actually.
Yeah, and crazy enough, it's up to 3.5 seconds now as well, so he's absolutely flying out there. That marker in the between him as well.
I'm surprised at how quickly he's setting off.
Yeah, he's running constantly 4/10 to half a second faster a lap than Lucas and really the rest of the field.
Yeah, I mean, look at the time on the last run. He was running 29.1, 29.1s early on. So he was pretty quick, but I think he's definitely, from the way he's gone at it this run, he knows that he's had some more in the car in reserve. So I think you're right. I think he's gone.
Yeah, with doing a 22, 23 lap stint, I would hope he pits roughly around lap 172, 171, 172, and then he'll do it again. So really, he's only got 12, 13, like 14 laps to go until he pits.
Yeah, I mean, these guys at the front are just spreading apart now as well. Closest battle is between is for P10, Johansson and Thomas there that we just saw for a moment ago. But
with the way we've been having cautions in this, though, I mean, it's got to be tempting to try and stay out and run it to the end.
I think with those little cars that are on the lead lap, I would take the chance, especially being Alessandro. I mean, having such a good short car run. I mean, you pit, you get trapped a lap down. Worst case scenario, you'll be the first car lap down and you get your lap back. Yep, that's a good shout.
Times have started to equalise out now. There's only, well, let's see, 2/10 between them. The lap before that was only a tenth as well. So, but when you've got a 4.5 second lead, you know, you can afford to let them start to come back at you.
Exactly, and he's going to be pitting, hopefully, I would hope, in about 10 laps. And if he pits in 10 laps, I don't think he's losing 4. He hit the wall. He hit the wall right now.
Yeah, but he's been doing that all race. I'm not entirely sure that seems to hurt his car.
Yeah,
it was
he
a
hit it
30.5
hard,
that he
though.
just run though, so that's cost him. That cost him what 0.8 of a second there. So
He actually, I think he caught it pretty good this time.
see what he does the next lap.
This lap, it might be slow still after. You see, he's really, really tight.
Yeah, that's down to 2.7 seconds now.
He's loose.
So,
He's heated the rears.
30.7 again. Set off like a missile there. One little mistake, and it can just all unfold really, really quickly on you. Wow. Where's your money on now, guys? It's not over by any means for him.
It's certainly not with that damage, no.
Oh, he's into the wall again as well.
Well, I think I did say if it stays green, Lucas will win it, right?
Yeah, 1.6 seconds, 30.0 compared to 30.5, so this whole pack closing in on him now. He'll be kicking himself in the car as well that he made the mistake. All that does is just make yourself go that bit slower. Looks like we've got Johansson around as well. He's got just tyre smoke. No, that is engine smoke, so he's been into the wall hard. No caution. Let's just see what that was all about. Got Matt going around the outside of him, got a little loose and got into him, tries to get back into. Wow, yeah, he was just pushed down low, just tries to get back to the high line there, going down the straight, just loses the car and straight into the wall, on the down below on the apron, no issues. Green flag stays out.
Alessandro's back into the 30.5s. He seems to have stabilised his lap times out a little bit. And
yeah, he should be pitting about.
Back, but
he should be pitting in about 5-6 laps. Hopefully that's what they end up doing here for him. If he pits and these guys stay out, I mean you can cross that out. He's gonna win it. There's no reason for these other guys to be staying out.
Yeah, but has he got damage? Is that what's causing the bulk of the drop off in pace? Because that's a little bit more than what we've seen from previous green flag runs. So.
Well,
that might just hinder him a little bit.
He did a while back have the same sort of issue. He started running 30.4s, 30.5s quite early, and they took a chunk out of him in this kind of middle sector of a run before it stabilised out a little bit, and he was able to come back at him again later on. But I think you're right. I think the damage is certainly hurting him. Maybe 0.2 a lap, possibly.
Yeah, I'd be bringing him down. Four more laps, I'd bring him down.
Yeah, Lucas going for the lead though.
Yeah, you can see there. I think he's struggling straight line speed.
There's a car in the backstretch in the bottom. Hit the wall. Marcus.
Yeah, and as has been, I don't know. Thought for a moment we were showing APH speeds for some strange reason, but we're not. Yeah, so Lucas up and through. Martin dropped way back as well all of a sudden, doing sort of low 31s now.
Ooh, Alessandro. He's really loose.
Bring him down. I'd bring him down right now.
He's still in range, isn't he? To get
He's
him.
coming. Here he goes.
Oh, get that stopped. Yeah, it does
Am
work.
am I his spotter for this race by any chance, or? Yeah, he seems to be. Yeah, he.
They've got somebody watching the broadcast, right? The guy said you're going to come in and pit now.
Bit Solomon closing on Miguel Gomez as well, just ahead of them is Rob as well.
So will the others react to this? Will they try and cover him off?
You've got to, haven't you? I think.
They're already about a second and a half off pace from the beginning. If they stay out 2 laps is 3 seconds. So,
Yep.
They have to pit. If they don't pit, they're gonna regret it later on.
I think if Lucas doesn't come in this time or next time around, then that tells you they're going to go to the end.
Yeah, there they go. How many laps was it? Was it 44 laps more? I think there was 50 to go whenever they pitted, right? Correct?
20
like
56 to go from here.
Correct. So they were trying to stretch it out to 55, 56 laps. I don't think there's any way they can make it. I'd have to see when they restart.
Alessandro, similarly, though, again, like I said before, he's now out and it's circulating quickly. He's got other cars, slow cars to contend with. He also needs to just look after his tyres a little bit, because he needs to make sure that he's still pulling in 1.5 seconds a second at the end of this run, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, he did a 29.2 that lap, so
1.7 seconds.
Yeah. I hate to say it, the guys out front, if they can make it, they're committed to staying there now, because he's already just got such an advantage. I mean, just look at that. He's just steaming past. There's nothing they can do. So
here's the thing too. If those other guys pit with 10 to go, 15 to go, they're not going to catch him. I mean, you're not going to gain 30 seconds in 10 laps. You're going to have to run 3 seconds faster than that person, and I don't think it's going to happen. You're losing way too much time right now.
Great little battle still going on as well between Gomez, Rob and Vit.
He does need to calm down a little bit, though. He's pushing so hard, you can see him just nearly clipping that wall again.
Yeah, and that's what caused him the issues in the last... Oh, God. Jeez.
He's certainly not giving it... It's just red rag to a bull, isn't it? I honestly, if I was his spotter, I'd be saying, just calm down. The pace is fine. Be a little sensible with it. You can afford to lose maybe a 10th or 2 a lap from where you are.
It looks great though as well. It looks like you're watching, you're watching some, I don't know, sprint cars against, street stock or something out there. The way it's just steaming straight round the outside. So, it looks good.
2 seconds a lap with 20 to go. That's 40 seconds. I actually think if these guys stay out, he's going to get his lap back and possibly even come back and get a top 5 out of it.
Yeah, here he is about to get onto the lead lap as well, so...
20 laps to go. I mean, yeah, about 20 laps to go. He's going to gain 40 seconds on these leaders.
Lucas knew he liked that high line, so just checks him up a little bit there.
If it stays green and these guys don't pit, Alessandro's going to go around and he's going to pass them and win this race. He's gaining 2 seconds a lap, and we got roughly 18 to go. That's 36 seconds he's going to gain on these leaders. And they're running, 30 seconds, 30-second lap times.
Is the drop-off going to stay at 2 seconds, though? Or will he level off towards where they are?
No, there's no way that he's going to drop off 2 seconds, and they're not going to level off. There's just absolutely no way they're going to level off.
Oh, it's whether or not we get a caution or anything right now as well. This driver's really loose out there. Having to slice his way through the field. A lot of damaged cars too.
Yeah, he gained 3 seconds that lap.
This is the thing, he just needs to not hit the wall again as well. Just negotiating these two straight around the outside. Coming back into 9th place now. Got 6.5 seconds to catch up Thomas ahead of him as well. So I have to say the others are all apart at the moment. So we're gonna stick on Alessandro because where all the action's at. Do you like the Red Bull livery just ahead?
He gained 2 seconds.
Yeah, Lucas 31.3s.
Yeah, I mean Lucas pretty much pulling away from Martin and Thomas as well. They can't really keep up. So I mean he's good from where he is right now. He's just going to have to hope and pray that that he can hold on to this.
Yeah, if he keeps this up, he's only going to need about 12, 13 laps to catch him, and we got 15 or 16 to go. So even if he keeps a pace of about a second and a half a lap, he's going to catch him regardless.
This is just what we wanted to make it interesting at the end. I mean, it's, yeah, do it by the numbers. Oh, just don't hit that outside wall.
So Alessandro's 29.5 that last time round. Lucas Buehler with a 31.4, so that's 1.9 again.
Constantly.
I'm honestly really surprised these guys chose to not pit. I'm really surprised that happened.
Gap's down to 22 seconds.
Yeah, it took off another
Make that 20.4 as he crossed the finish line there. So, oh, he's very high. Keep it out of the wall. I have to say, just from the pure, excitement factor, I want to see him do it now.
It's going to be close. I think it's going to be really, really close. It's going to be, maybe last lap. Lucas again, 31.5. His drop off is not much. He's certainly doing absolutely everything he can to make it really difficult.
It was a 30 this time for Alessandro as well. So, but it was still 1.4 seconds that he's gained. 19.0 seconds is the gap.
I'm not sure 1.4 is enough.
Did have a bit of traffic that lap as well. So, see what it is. Just moved himself up and past Luigi into 6th place as well. Got 2 seconds until he gets up to Vit and Miguel Gomez, so certainly going to get those guys.
Yeah, he had traffic that last lap. He gained still 1.3 on him. Looks like he's got a clear track ahead of him. I mean, it was still great to watch. I mean, regardless, like I said, he's going to come out with, I think, 2nd or 3rd at worst. It'll be great, though, if he can, get up to at least the top 5, and then if we do get that late rate caution, to see how aggressive he will be there.
Oh! Just thought for a moment he was gonna... No, he is. Straight down low. And then, yeah, under one, above another, so... Negotiated those 3 cars. That puts him into 4th place. He's got 5 seconds to catch up to Thomas now.
Yeah, he'll definitely catch Thomas, for sure.
9 laps to go.
Lucas Buehler, I would absolutely love to have a go in that setup. I mean, his lap times are just... His drop-off is 0.1 or 0.2 every single lap.
Well, you say that, but the man who's closing in on it is Martin right now. He's only 2.4 seconds, and he's coming at about 0.2 of a second a lap. So, he's not going to be far off at the end.
Of course, if these two start scrapping as well, that is going to slow him up.
Yep.
Which plays right into Alessandro's hands.
Was on your 30.7 this time. That was 1.2 seconds. So that's not enough. He needs to get it back over the 1.5. Going to make this work. 8 laps to go. 13 seconds.
30.3 that time round.
Yeah. 1.6 right there.
30 seconds is a gap. 1.6 would be enough.
Lucas is struggling now as well. His time actually dropped off. It's all about Martin, I think. Martin's coming back at him. He's only 2 seconds back, so we're not done and dusted for this race between these guys either.
I think that's Alessandro up to P3. I think.
Yeah, he's into 3rd now.
Gained another 1.2.
12.6 seconds is the gap.
That's not going to be enough.
Lucas just dropped off like a rock right there. We're going to see how much Alessandro can gain on him here this lap.
31.7 for Lucas that time by, so picked it up a little bit. Waiting for Alessandro to cross the line.
1.1. Yeah, it's not going to be enough.
Oh!
Oh wow! What would you know?
We're gonna have a restart. Yes, they have to pit.
Oh, who is it? Oh, it's Michael there as well. major damage. I mean, he has to just drop that on his own. Let's have a look, see what it was all about.
One lap shootout. Alessandro, if you're him, I think. Do you take 2 and go for track position?
No, you take 4. I mean, you're 3rd place already. Take 4. 2 tires, it's not gonna stick.
Well, I think from Alessandro's point of view, I think he realised actually he wasn't going to get there. I think he would have been 3-4 laps short, maybe. But yeah, this opens it up for him now. Did the hard work, got himself back into P3 as well. So, and he would have had a lot of fun doing that. That was brilliant for us to watch and keep track of that.
Oh, he was really aggressive on pit lane entry there.
I actually don't know if he got a black flag or not off that.
I wonder, is he going to take the risk?
Yeah, if he takes 2, I was really surprised.
No, he's gone 4. You never quite know when you see a race like this if someone's just going to take that little extra chance. Martin Kappel has actually jumped into P1 coming off pits. He's won the battle of the pit stops.
Wow, that shakes it out a little bit as well. I have to say, I think Lucas has got enough pace to get Martin. I'm sorry, Martin, I'd love to see you get back to back, but I think that car looks very, very strong behind you.
Alessandro's doing he's playing a bit of mind games in the race chat as well. Winding the boys up, telling them it's going to be interesting towards the end. I'm all for that. I think if I was in his position, I'd be doing the same. I'd be giving it over the radio. Do you realise I was quicker than you on that run? Put a little seed of doubt in their minds.
What are we getting? 1 lap? 2 laps?
Looks like we're going to have a 1 lap shootout here to the end. I think with it being a 1 lap, it looks like Thomas stayed out.
Looks like Thomas might have stayed out. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well, this could make it a little interesting.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure anybody's going to thank him for that. He's not going to be able to accelerate at all off a restart, so he's going to get.
Lucas is in the worst spot.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd want to be in Martin's spot either, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to have to go, and if he goes a little bit too quick, he's going to hook that car to the right. I wouldn't be surprised if a 9th place car here wins this race.
Would you be doing that? Would you stay out on old tyres with 1 lap to go, take the punt on it?
Are they on 2 to go?
2 to go, yeah.
I'm watching these wave around cars. They're still staying in line. Okay, there they go. I was about to say these guys pitted and the race is over.
I could understand if somebody had gone in and tried to take 2. That I could get, I think, staying out. Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Staying out, old tires and damage. It might be beneficial to him if someone spins their tires and gets the caution out before they do take the green. I think that might be the only thing, but
If I was Alessandro, I would nail that high line all the way through
Yeah,
line 2 and just floor it.
Alessandro is laying back a lot actually.
Here we go then. One lap shootout. Like I say, that bottom line just doesn't move. Oh!
Thomas Corney gets a really good start.
And yeah. Pretty
Well,
much.
they go to 2 teammates for the win.
Exact repeat. I'll have to eat my words. This time they're going to actually go at it though.
I think the 92 is going to get him off this corner here.
Nope,
No,
I don't think he's got enough.
Not.
There he is. Oh,
Wow, what a finish.
I have to say, I'm delighted for those guys to come through just from doing it again. But I'm gutted for Alessandro as well. I just, took the punt on that strategy call, and yeah, it looks so good for the minute. But yeah, amazing from those guys again, taking victory.
Thomas Corney, mind, I've got to say, I don't know if that's luck or judgment, but he has to have been so close to getting a black flag there.
Yeah, it looks like he should have been given a black flag. He did finish ahead of him.
He's ahead of Alessandro as they cross the line on green, and he's gone inside him.
Doing him actually is P2 on my timing screen, so there's obviously been a little bit of a mess up there. So, Matt, can you just give us a rundown of the final standings, because yeah, it's not updating for some strange reason here.
Yep, so we've got Thomas Corney showing the win at the moment provisionally. Martin Kappel second, Alessandro Deladone picks up third, Miguel Gomez fourth, Lucas Buhler drops to fifth, which is a big surprise. Vit Solomon sneaks up to sixth, Luigi Graffini seventh, Robert Erling eighth, Peter Jensen ninth, Thomas Koch on 10th, Pedro Rodriguez somehow loops, spins, flips, crashes, and all sorts his way to 11th. Clyde picks up 12th whilst driving around in a car that was literally on its last legs. Michael Bloom 13th, Matthew Germain 14th, Michael Johansson 15th.
The results just flipping by at the moment. Well, what can we say, guys? We thought it'd be fun to watch, and it was. I tell you, those last 20-25 laps were brilliant.
I definitely have to give it to Alessandro. This race, he took chances, and chances are sometimes hard to take, and he took them this race, and it paid off either way for him. I mean, he could have easily been trapped due to a caution, and big props to him for taking those chances this race.
Right, let's get the leaders up here for a chat nice and quickly. Right. Thomas, welcome.
Hello.
Congratulations. One better than the last round. I have to say, with a few laps to go, it wasn't looking great. Caution came out, and you absolutely nailed the restart. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. I was lucky, really.
Just obviously you got caught up in an accident earlier on in the race as well, with the restart. I have to say, we called it in the box, and we said that perhaps you put your car into a place that was always going to disappear. What was your view on that one?
Yeah, well, the race really went bad for me because the stint before the safety car, I hit the wall and I had to repair damage. That's why I ended in the back. And yeah, I went too aggressive. I thought that the guy will leave me space because I was side by side with him before the contact, and he just sent me to the wall. Everybody checked up. There wasn't too much damage on the car, but the car was slower than the others, and that affected my race because I couldn't really keep up with the leaders. So the safety car saved my race, basically. There was a bit of okay.
Well, of course, just you won better than the last round, beat your teammate as well, so points are going to be very close as well. And you guys proved that you had a good car. At the slightly not just on the the plate. So a whole package, it would seem. We're gonna have to watch out for you for the rest of the season.
Yes, we worked harder on the setup because we were motivated from the Daytona. We wanted to have 1-2 again. It looked really bad, but in the final lap we did it. I'm very happy for that. And this was a team strategy. We know how it finished before the restart.
Okay, is your teammate up for a quick chat as well? We'll drag him up. Yeah.
In the welcome channel.
Martin, congratulations. We'll switch over to you. 1-2 again for the team. Commiserations to some of your teammates as well. They were looking strong once again this week, but unfortunately, what can you say? Then Matthew had terrible luck with I think it was Pedro, wasn't it, that he hit?
Oh yes, he was unlucky again. He showed a good pace in the race, but again he just got involved in an accident with a standing car in the middle of the track, and his race was over. So that was a shame. But we managed to
1-2 again
at the front. Yeah, that was very good.
0.12 to your teammate. What can you say?
It's amazing. I mean, I'm out of words. I would have never thought we would make it in Atlanta, because Daytona was a teamwork. It was all about arm drafting, but this was different. So
you were before the caution came out, you were closing back in on Lucas quite, I wouldn't say comfortably, it was probably 2-3 tenths of a second a lap. I think you would have got there. What's your feelings on that? If that caution hadn't have come out, do you think you had enough in the bag to maybe get the move, get the win that way?
Yeah, actually, when the caution came out, I was kind of angry because at first I thought the race was over. So I was hoping to get in front of him by the end of the race, because I was closing him like 1-2 tenths per lap. But yeah, I had to rely on the restart this time.
And just while I've got both of you here, do you want to just give a quick shout out to your team and sponsors?
Of course, I would like to thank Romer Alcala again. Great organization. He also got us some more members here, so we are stronger. And even if some of us gets crashed out, we can still finish. And also Simulated, Formula VR, and Lenovo, biggest sponsors. Thanks to them. And also, I would like to say that there is something coming up for the NASCAR division, exclusive sponsor for us. So I hope it will go well, and in new race we'll be with new colors.
Awesome. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that. Congrats, guys. Go and enjoy, first and second again. Maximum points out of the 2 races, and let's see what you can do. Auto Club in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. Next up, we've got Alessandro.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, my friend. You had us on the edge in the commentary box when you decided that you were going to pit in. We were trying to calculate it, whether or not you were going to get back up to the front or not. It was looking really, really good. And then tires just started to fall off a little bit. But as it was, the caution flag come out. I mean, just to obviously tell us about those 10 or 15 laps where you were just slicing through the field.
Yeah, it was awesome, guys. That was one of the best racing I ever had here in iRacing and NASCAR Stock Car Racing. It was really fun, and that was due to my big mistake. I crashed really hard into the wall, into accidental fall, and even if I had a considerably good lead, for second, I think so, and my car was a bit loose, didn't turn. My setup was a bit, I discovered during the race for short runs, and I really had to push a lot in the beginning of the run, and then try to keep up the pace and try to stay in front of people. But yeah, it was really fun. I really liked it, and at least I didn't lose any place with the caution coming out the last 5 laps. I'm really happy and a bit disappointed also because that last final restart I screwed up everything. I spun the tires and I let the guys behind me to pass me.
I have to say, we thought that you might just drive right around them on the outside. You've been doing that all race long, and the car looked really good in 1 and 2 up top. Of course, when you're up high, you flirt with the walls, and you'll watch the broadcast back. And don't worry, we picked up every time you clip the wall or give it a good old smash. So you were having a lot of fun out there with the walls today.
Yeah, this week we stock car NASCAR in Atlanta, and then IndyCars in Kansas. At Kansas, my voice is become, we can say, my best friend. Always slicing and dicing beneath the cars and the walls every time. I think that I found my room, my living room, of my racing. A Kyle Ryson of the situation.
Just to talk about your teammate for a second down in where did he finish up? Luigi, 7th place there, I think. Yeah. Good run from him as well. Kept himself out of trouble. What's what was he sort of saying in the chat and maybe on TeamSpeak? Just didn't look like he was able to extract the same performance out of the car today as you were.
Yeah, Luigi, that is the boss of Team Ethan, our chief. We can say that he's a bit calm. He tries always to wait for some mistakes. He tries to manage the tires. In fact, in long run, Luigi is extraordinary. Passes everyone during the last laps of green flag stops and then all that stuff. Luigi was the contrary of me. I was screaming all over the place to him, to my friends in TeamSpeak. He was always quiet. Sometimes I wonder also if he was still in the race because he never said anything. But I'm really happy, and we are happy anyway because it's a really nice result for us. Normally Italians don't do anything good in our racing. I was said most of the time to be the worst driver of the NASCAR period due to my driving that sometimes is not so productive as today. But anyway, that's my racing, and you can like it or hate it.
We loved it today, I'll tell you.
Let's see if the next rounds will keep up the pace and try to fight again for the victory.
Just before we let you go, obviously, Road Atlanta up. Road Atlanta, I'm going mad. I keep saying that. Auto Club up next in 2 weeks' time. I mean, how do you like the circuit? What do you think? What do you think the racing is going to be like there? Similar to today? I mean, a lot wider track. We're going to have multi-groove racing there. Do we think?
Honestly, I never raced at Auto Club with NASCARs because I'm pretty new to NASCAR. I started racing kind of like 6-7 months ago, starting from nothing, just playing NASCAR 2003 season, and I actually raced only once or twice with the IndyCar, and that track was freaky annoying me.
Yeah, yeah.
With this banking, so much speed, you need to carry into the corners. But I think that it's gonna be something different with the next race because, if I'm not wrong, iRacing will develop the new low down sport package for the NASCAR.
Yep.
So I think that it's gonna change a ton of things, and also our driving styles will need to be adapted. And but I think also that we will have a lot of passes because with this new low downforce package, if it is kind of like the real one, we will have a lot of fun. I guarantee you.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that one. Before we go, actually, do you want to give a quick shout out to the team? Anybody else that you need to thank and sponsors?
Well, I thank obviously Luigi, which is our boss. And,
yeah, don't forget him.
also my great teammates, especially Marco, who teach me a lot about oval racing, and I greet also our Italians drivers over racer that are always trying to stand out in iRacing official series, and also tech guys we are organizing our Italian NASCAR championship, which is gonna be really, really interesting.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for entertaining us today, and yeah, we look forward to you doing it the same again in a couple of weeks' time.
I hope so. Thank you, guys.
Last up for today, we've got Lucas. Lucas, congratulations on your result. I don't know if you're going to be a bit disappointed with that. Car looked really good. Obviously, before the caution flag come out, you were leading. You were being hunted down. You know, how are you feeling right now? Happy? Disappointed?
First of all, hello, gentlemen. Well, 50-50. I think I'm a bit disappointed because, I was leading quite part of a race and I felt really confident in front. And in those closing laps, I knew that my tires were just gone and I was barely holding onto the car. And Martin was closing up to me, but I knew that I would be able to hold it off to those last 8 to 10 laps. And then the caution flag came out and I knew there were going to be some problems. So.
Unfortunately, you were in the worst possible place for the restart, weren't you, as well? So you were tucked up behind the other Thomas, who decided he was going to stay out. So, you needed to get out of the lane, get going, get past, and it just looked like a nightmare for you.
Yeah, I've checked the relative black box and I saw him that he stayed out, so I basically figured out that he's on all tires, and I was starting third on the inside right behind the leader, so I knew that his start would be so slow, and at least I prayed for it. He's going to be like move on the left and let us pass through him, but he just stayed on the line, and I tried to go the outside of him. Then I made a slight contact with Thomas, I believe, and I had to check up a little, and then whole right turn just passed me out.
Yeah. You led the most laps today as well, which showed, how good the car was, and the team had a lot of pace. Your teammate out there earlier on, of course, he led quite a lot of laps as well, but just unfortunately he got caught up in an instant. He pitted early and had to work his way back through the pack, and just as he did that, got tagged in something. Could have been a really, really strong result for the team. You must have, as a group, you must have been very happy today.
Yeah, right from the beginning, everything just plays out, because in the first, I was like, qualifying is not my strong thing, so I basically always start from the mid-pack. But in a few laps, I made my way in front. Also, Vitek was moving up front a little bit. And, well, since I took that first place, I felt a little confident. I started to pull away from those guys a little bit, and I just realized that my setup might be good actually, because it was built for a long run. As you maybe noticed that after a few laps, my tires were still pretty good, and I could catch up or increase the gap from the guy behind me.
Now, again, as we just asked the other guys as well, Auto Club up next. How do you like the circuit? What are we going to expect there next week, or in 2 weeks' time? Sorry.
Well, we'll see. Definitely, it's going to be hot. I really like Atlanta as a racetrack. It's my favorite. It suits me. I'm not sure about the Auto Club. I always, when I run it, I have problems in the turn 4, so I'll start building setup right away from tomorrow.
Yeah, obviously new build. Sure. Well, new build coming out as well on there on Tuesday, so car's going to change somewhat.
Oh, that's a low down for spec or something.
That's right.
Oh, here we go. Just start to learn everything from the scratch again.
Yeah. Thanks very much for popping in. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to? Teammate sponsors?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to shout out our sponsor, NASCARlive.eu and iRacers.cz. Those are our main sponsors for the season. And also my teammate who did a great job staying out, and he finished, I believe, 6th right behind me. So yeah, hopefully we will repeat our result next week or next event, and maybe we'll have a shot to win next.
Awesome. Congrats on a strong race today. Gutted for you that in a way that it's not the result you wanted, but still lots of positives to take on, and hopefully the new builder will suit you guys well, and we'll see you back up there again at Auto Club.
Yeah, thanks for having me. See you guys.
Right, gentlemen. Well, you said it was going to be fun, and I have to agree with you. That was a great race.
Yeah, those last couple laps was a lot of fun to watch, especially to see the drivers' strategies go. It's kind of a shame that it went with the 1 lap shootout. It would have been fun to see if we would have had about 2 to 3 laps to see how it could have ended up. But it was fun. Those last 50 laps or so was a lot of fun to watch.
And Matt, just coming to you as well. Is this what we expected from this race? Obviously, you've done the NIS here and that, and I think played out just like we thought.
Yeah, if I get my button working there. Yeah. I was technical issues. There was a few more cautions than I thought they would be. It was a bit scrappier than I think it would have been ideal. But the last 50 or so laps, yeah, it was really good racing. I will say I'd be interested to see what admin decided to do in that last restart. I think Lucas got caught where he went to go up and around the car that was slow in front of him by Thomas coming down through and give him a slap on the side, which actually caused him to get back into the car that stayed out. So I'd be interested to see if they'll have a look at that or not. But yeah, it was good racing, a really good finish.
Awesome. Right, thanks, gentlemen, for joining me for this one as well. Long old race in the end as well with the caution. But it's been a lot of fun. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time for Auto Club, and I'm sure that's going to be great. Can't wait to see how the new the drivers deal with the new build, and you never know, our dreams may come true, and they might throw a new tyre model at us as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Apex Racing TV. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time.